Does dairy really cause acne, and do you really need to avoid dairy if you're gonna heal your acne for good? In this video, I'm gonna be sharing all my thoughts about dairy and if you should really avoid it. I'm Kristen, I'm a board certified nurse practitioner, and I'm a holistic acne specialist. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell if you wanna learn more about how to heal your acne naturally. Many people notice that their skin tends to break out more after they consume a lot of dairy. But is it just anecdotal? Is there actually a scientific reason why dairy contributes to acne? Well, as it turns out, there is a scientific correlation between dairy consumption and acne breakouts. This is one of the few foods that have actually been studied and shown to contribute to acne. Now, this isn't the case for everyone, but in certain people who are sensitive to dairy, this can trigger acne. So what is the scientific reason behind this? Number one, dairy contains something called IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1. This is a growth factor hormone that is present in cow's milk, and it's meant to stimulate the rapid growth in a baby cow. If you think about it, a baby cow needs to put on hundreds of pounds in a very short period of time. So this rapid growth is stimulated by this particular growth hormone, and it's actually also active in humans. Now, most of us are not going through a growth cycle when we're consuming dairy. So instead, this growth factor stimulates our oil glands to become enlarged and more active and produce more oil. It stimulates our skin cells, which are always rapidly dividing, to divide even more rapidly. And those two factors together can cause clogged pores when you have more oil and more dead skin cells clogging the pore, and that can lead to an acne lesion. The other thing that dairy has is that it has hormones. It has estrogen and progesterone, which are present in the mother cow's milk. Also, that can be active in humans as well. So you're getting a different concoction of hormones. Many cows are also pregnant while they're lactating, so the milk has even higher levels of hormones. And finally, there's the type of protein that is present in the milk. Casein protein is a type of protein that is present in cow's milk, and it can come in A1 variety or A2 variety. And as it turns out, most of our modern cows have this A1 type protein, which is harder to digest and more inflammatory for many people. A2 casein protein is easier to digest. As it turns out, goat's milk also has A2 casein protein. So goat's milk tends to be easier to digest, as well as A2 cow milk. You can actually find A2 cow milk available from cows that are bred to have this A2 casein protein, which is easier for humans to digest. It gets even a little bit more complicated than that, because some of these factors, so the growth factor is present more in the whey protein, so in the milk solids. However, the hormones are more present in the fat solids, so in like the butter and cream and fat. So it's not present equally in all. So if you're very sensitive to the growth factor, the IGF-1, which tends to be more inflammatory for a lot of acne patients, then you would definitely want to avoid whey protein and milk, including raw milk. However, you may be able to tolerate things like butter and cheese, which is mostly fat, and that fat will have those estrogens and progesterones, but it won't contain all that growth factor. In addition, when milk goes through fermentation, so that's through kefir, yogurt, long-aged cheeses, then the growth factor is broken down in that fermentation process. So you're gonna have much less or no growth factor present in those fermented milk products. So not only does fermentation improve digestibility, improves the probiotic content of milk, but also breaks down that growth factor. Now, a question I get all the time is raw milk better for you than pasteurized milk? Now, this is a complex question because raw milk will have all of those factors intact. So you have all the hormones, the growth factor, but also the beneficial enzymes intact in the milk. So you're gonna be getting a bigger dose of that IGF-1 if you drink raw milk. Now, a lot of people will say that raw milk is a more natural form of consuming dairy, but here's the thing that you have to think through is that our ancestors didn't have refrigeration. So yes, while they would milk their cow and have fresh raw dairy, they didn't have a way to preserve that dairy for very long. So raw milk that is left out of refrigeration will naturally ferment into curds and whey. And so our ancestors probably would have eaten a lot of curds and whey, or they would have fermented the milk into something that would last and preserve a little bit longer through the fermentation process, such as yogurt, kefir, or cheese. So yes, while it's true our ancestors probably did eat a fair amount of raw milk, they also consumed a lot of their dairy in a fermented preserved process because they didn't have refrigeration. That's a lot of information about why dairy is a complicated food to figure out. Here's what I typically recommend. I recommend that you do go dairy-free while you are actively breaking out and trying to heal your skin. I find that dairy can exacerbate or prolong that healing process when we don't give our body a break from that particular food. The way I always like to think about it is if you have a broken leg, you're not going to be running or walking or jumping on that broken leg. You're going to give that leg a period of time where it's going to rest and recover, and then you will get back to those normal activities. And that's the same way I think about dairy, is that there's a period of time where we want to avoid dairy in order to give our body a chance to heal and recover. And then for most people, we can add dairy back in and your body can tolerate it and it's not going to react in the same way. A lot of times that might include healing your gut or working on other factors to help your body be more resilient and not react so strongly to dairy. One of the exceptions to this is actually a supplement called colostrum. Colostrum is the first milk produced by the mother cow after giving birth. And this colostrum is meant for a gut that has never eaten anything else. It's meant for a baby cow's gut to really nourish and prepare that gut for even more food down the line. This particular milk is super healing and can be very soothing to the gut. So a lot of times I'll actually recommend people try a colostrum supplement to help soothe their gut lining if they're showing a lot of signs that their gut is damaged. After you've given your gut that time to heal and reset, then we can work on gradually reintroducing small amounts of dairy and seeing how your body reacts. There are 4 words that I want you to look for when you're shopping for dairy. First of all, you want to look for organic. You want to find the highest quality dairy that you possibly can. And first of all, we want it to be organic. Second of all, we want it to be grass-fed. Animals are eating grass, their milk has better nutrition, has more vitamin A, and the milk is going to be a better quality. So I look for organic, grass-fed, and fermented or cultured. So that means yogurt, kefir, long-aged cheeses. That tends to make the milk and dairy more digestible. And finally, if you can, find A2 dairy. You want to find A2, which means both parents have the A2 gene to create milk that will be A2 milk. A2 milk is easier to digest. It's pretty hard to find cheeses, but you can often find milk and yogurt and kefir in the A2 variety. One of the best brands is Alexander Farms. You can usually find that at Whole Foods. When your skin is fully healed, start with those guidelines: organic, grass-fed, fermented, and preferably A2. Add in those dairy sources and see how your body responds. Most people can tolerate a moderate amount of dairy on a regular basis. Other people might need to cut back or maybe tolerate more. Also keep in mind, some people are sensitive when they mix dairy with gluten. Gluten can be very problematic for certain people. So something like a pizza that has the gluten and the dairy mixed together may be much harder on your stomach and on your inflammation in your body than just having the dairy alone without the gluten. So keep that in mind. I like to keep those separate when we're reintroducing them in the healing process. This is a topic that I cover in detail in step 2 of my 5-step clear skin program. We talk all about elimination diets, which foods we really want to avoid while healing skin, which foods are most healing, and which foods we can reintroduce over time. I go over that all in the course. If you would like to learn more about my approach to healing skin naturally without harsh medications and reversing the root causes for good, I invite you to join my free acne masterclass, which is going to lay out the 5 steps of the clear skin method and give you a better context of what it looks like to heal naturally. The link is below. Thanks for joining me in this video. I hope you'll subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a single video coming up. I'll see you in the next one.